Welcome everyone to the July monthly meeting of Rank the Vote Ohio. So for anyone who might be new and are asking like, hey, who is Rank the Vote Ohio, or what is ranked choice voting? So Rank the Vote Ohio is a nonpartisan grassroots group. We are dedicated to the education of what ranked choice voting is for everyone in Ohio. Not just what it is, but what it can do and how we can implement it. And so what ranked choice voting is a simple upgrade to the way that we vote. So instead of picking one person, you rank your choices. So first, second, third, so on. First choice doesn't win, vote shifts to your second. Second choice doesn't win, shifts to your third. This way, you always get to vote for the person you want while always having a backup. And it's part of the reason why we always do these polls right at the start. It's one of those easy ways to help people realize and understand how simple it is and that you kind of already think that way. So if you have more questions about like who we are and how we're going to be doing that, stick around and stick in the main room when we start breaking out into groups. But the general plan and what we're really working on is a kind of three-pronged assault. So it's people, money, and endorsements. Money is what makes the world go round. Endorsements are all of the big major groups. So we actually have a couple of them who have already endorsed us. Our Revolution Ohio, the Green Party of Ohio, different factions of the Libertarian Party. We have Cleveland Votes, Move to Amend, a bunch of different people who all recognize that ranked choice voting is the way forward for not just us, but the entirety of America. The way that they can fight and make their voices heard is when we have a reason to listen to everyone. So it's that it's those big groups that bring in all of us, all of the people, and we're the ones, you and me, who make this happen. So both the supporters who let us know how big we're growing and the volunteers who reach out to all of them. In June, we had over 200 people or 200 new supporters sign up with us in just the weekend of Juneteenth alone. We got over 280 people throughout the entirety of July, and we still got a couple days left. And so we're going to keep setting our sights bigger and bigger. So for the next month, our goal is going to be 350 new supporters and hopefully a bunch more volunteers too. And so how we're going to be doing that is a couple of different ways. And I'm going to be sending this off right now to the head of our live outreach team, LM. They're going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to be canvassing and bringing the word out to new people.
Indeed. Yeah, thanks, Justin. So a big part of spreading the word is talking to people. And I know that might not be your jam, but here's the deal. Live outreach can be anything that involves a conversation about ranked choice voting. And so a big part of our live outreach work is what we call canvassing, which is going out in public to events like farmers markets and local festivals to just talk to strangers on the street. And if you're into that, or if that's something you might want to try doing, come to our live outreach team meetings and we'll train you up and send you off to an event with some experienced canvassers. But if you are going to a cookout in someone's backyard, or you're going to an event at your church or place of worship, and there's going to be people that you have to make small talk with, ask them if they've heard of ranked choice voting. A simple conversation can go a long way in getting us to our goals for bringing people in. And am I handing it off to someone else next? Probably.
Yes. So thank you, LM. We're actually going to be tossing it over to Kyle, who is our social media and kind of our communications team lead. Kyle?
So like LM said, just like in live outreach where you take advantage of those organic conversations, you can do the exact same thing in digital outreach when you're online and you're seeing people talking about politics, oftentimes complaining about politics and the choices that they have and all the things that are wrong. There are so many ways that you can interject, like comment and say like, hey, you know what would help fix this? Ranked choice voting. As Justin likes to say, you know, politics sucks, but ranked choice voting makes politics suck less. You know, it gives us more choices, and like all the other issues that people care about trying to decrease corruption, like you increase accountability when you have more candidates through ranked choice voting. Like people talk about gerrymandering. Ranked choice voting helps limit the harmful effects of gerrymandering, because when you have more than two parties running, it's way more difficult for them to draw lines that only help one party. And it creates more competition, even if it is a gerrymandered district. And, you know, campaign finance. The more we level the playing field with ranked choice voting, the more opportunities candidates will be able to run without relying on, you know, massive donor contributions. And so there are so many ways that we can talk to people about how ranked choice voting can help address all of these other issues that they care about as well, or even the most basic ones. We have elections here in Ohio just a week from now in the 11th and 15th congressional districts. The 11th is Cleveland and Akron, and there are 13 candidates running in the Democratic primary. And so the more candidates you have, the more the vote can be split. And so what happens is that the media will focus its attention on two candidates, and then you never get to hear about the rest of them. Ranked choice voting would change that. And then in Ohio 15, there are 12 candidates running in the Republican primary. And that race, you know, there aren't a lot of media reports about who the like front runners are. So there's a very good chance that somebody can win with way less than 50% when the vote is getting split between 12 people. And so these things that are constant, these things happen all the time, where we have these opportunities to draw attention to how ranked choice voting can fix those problems. And as LM said, it's great when you can do it organically with people that you already know or people that you're interacting with in real life. But you can do the same thing online by commenting on posts and then tagging Rank the Vote Ohio. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, active on all of those right now. And so you can tag us and you can direct them to our website to learn more. And you can also, there are so many digital forums that we're parts of, that are parts of our communities, all of these different Facebook groups that you belong to. You can post in those as well to help amplify our message, especially prior to big events that we have, such as our next meeting, which is going to be our celebration of our 1 year anniversary since we sent in our papers to become a nonprofit last August. So that's going to be in our next meeting. And we're having at-home trivia night fundraiser next Wednesday, August 5th at 7 p.m. Sorry, next Thursday, August 5th at 7 p.m. And so you can invite people to that as well to spread the word through digital outreach.
Yeah, thanks, Al. And it's all of those little things. It's each of those little ways in which we can all agitate, let people know, like I say and like Kyle pointed out, politics sucks, and we can help make it suck less. Every time that you hear someone saying, oh God, I just hate all of these people, ranked choice voting. Every time that you hear someone say, oh man, this is just terrible, ranked choice voting. And so that's actually a little bit about what we're going to be doing tonight and what Kristen's going to be talking about right now, a little bit of a mini messaging training. How do you talk to people? How do you let them know, hey, there is actually a way out of this. There is a way that we can make this better. And so, Kristen, you want to take over?
I mean, we have a pitch that we can train you on if you go out and do live outreach, and we have some things that we can give you. But I just wanted to give you a couple little quick tidbits. One of the things that we have learned about talking about ranked choice voting is that the 50%, more than 50%, is one of the big things that gets people's interest. So, and that keeps people talking about how we can have a majority winner, and having a majority winner is important to people. So that's one of the things that you can really jump on. So if people are like, oh, we're going to win, it's like, sometimes 30% wins the vote. We could actually have more than 50% if we had ranked choice voting. Try not to talk into the details of how it works. Try and keep it at that more than 50% level, because once we start getting into the details, people start getting their brains all twisted around. Plus, I know a lot of people who might be here in this room, you might not know all the details, and it's hard to answer some of those technical things about how it works, how did they tally it, that kind of stuff. The important thing to know and the important thing to talk about is that it gives us more choices at the ballot box. It gives us more power as voters. It gives us more than 50% of the votes to the person who wins. They can't win with less than that. Those are the important things to talk about. One of the other things we like to share is find something that's completely non-political, such as ice cream, or as your favorite color, or superheroes, something non-political. And ask, have you ever thought, like, going out to dinner, what restaurant you would want to go to? If it was closed, do you have a second one in mind? If that one's closed, don't you have a list in your head of like 3 different restaurants you'd like to go to, and if you can't get one, you get the next? We do this every day. That is an easy way to talk about it. We rank our groceries. We rank our restaurants. We rank favorite colors. We rank favorite foods. We do this every single day, and that is the easiest way to talk about it. Is, wouldn't you love to do that in politics too? So that's my quick pitch training for you.
Yeah, it's all of those little things. And so what we want to give all of you is that little bit of help, that little bit of boost to say, these are the things that more people care about, and this is how you can reach out to them. So, like, we've talked a little bit about like who we are and what we do, but what I want to let everyone know is, like, we're just a bunch of normal people too. Like, we are just people who just care and just want politics, like we said before, just to suck less. Like, I'm the executive director. You just heard from Kristen Byrice. She is the communications director. Kyle is the head of our communications team. LM is the head of actually both our live outreach and our fundraising team. And so who I'm going to be tossing it off to next is Jeff, who with Denise are the heads of our volunteer mobilization team. And what we do every single week, the immediate, more or less immediately right after our big monthly meeting, is our volunteer orientation. Jeff, do you want to take over?
I would, Justin. Thank you. Yeah, everyone. My name is Jeff. I am the co-lead of the volunteer mobilization team with Denise. And like Justin said, we have our volunteer orientation coming up on Wednesday evening. That's 48 hours from now. We like to give volunteers, you come to this monthly meeting, maybe it's your first time here. There are a lot of names I don't recognize, so I'm really happy to see everyone. And you really like you're picking up what we're putting down, you want to get involved. This is a great way, just jump right in. As I said, Wednesday evening, we'll get you set up with a team. We'll show you how we manage our projects through Basecamp. You can have a little bit more of an in-depth training, like an elevator pitch training, kind of what Kristen just gave us, but a little bit more in-depth, some time to practice with other volunteers. And yeah, just finding out more about our organization and the way it's structured through our teams. That is Wednesday evening. I can grab the link and put it in the chat momentarily. Please join us Wednesday evening as well. I will also say, we mentioned the special election coming up in Ohio's 11th and Ohio's 15th districts. That's a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow. And what we're trying to do is get a lot of volunteers in those districts coming to polling places and showing like a mock ballot of what those races with 13 Democrats up here in Cleveland, or 12 Republicans down south of Columbus running for the same seat. You know, in the Cleveland district, if you're voting for someone who's not named Nina Turner or Chantal Brown, you're very likely not going to get anywhere with your result or with your vote. This is a perfect opportunity for us to show people why we would benefit from a system like ranked choice voting. So I encourage everyone, if you're interested in that, please contact me or LM about getting out into the streets a week from tomorrow to have some live outreach and talking with people about ranked choice voting. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and thank you, Jeff. And so, like Jeff just said, we have a bunch more stuff coming up, and that's actually going to be a little bit more of Kristen talking about what we are planning and what we want your help with.
Actually, I'm going to pass it over to LM first, who's going to talk about our at-home pub trivia that's happening next week.
Yes, back by popular demand. Some of you may have participated in our first at-home pub trivia event this spring. You know, I think we've all been looking for ways to adapt how we can get together and have fun and do things in a virtual environment. So this is pub trivia in the style that you may be used to, where we get together in teams. Everyone drinks and has fun and answers trivia questions, and there's some competition involved, but of course that's not what's important. And this is pub trivia that you can do from home, meaning you can create your team of people who don't all have to be in the same place. So it's a great opportunity to, you know, get together with folks you might not have seen for a while. Or if you want to get together with folks in person, you can choose to do that and everyone get together in one person's house and log on, and you can have your pub trivia from home and in person too. You can have the best of both worlds. So our online pub trivia event will be taking place next Thursday. Just RSVP on our website, and if you're coming with a team, make sure to let us know what your team name is. There will also be some raffle prizes involved. It will be a fundraiser for Rank the Vote Ohio, so you get to enjoy trivia and raffle prizes all in one. It'll be a fun time.
Awesome. Yeah, so that is one way you can help to spread the word. It's also a way that you can help us to fundraise. So remember, as we said, people, money, and endorsements are 3 of the tracks that we are working on. This helps fulfill our money track. So fundraising is hugely important to keep us on track. We pay for things like this Zoom room is paid for through money that we fundraise. We also have our website, which costs us money every single month. We also have Basecamp, which costs us money every month. These are things that happen every single month that we need to pay for. And we also would like to be doing other things. We need to grow and we need to expand, and we want to do tables at different events, and we need to pay for supplies to be able to do that. We need flyers, we need door hangers, we need all these things to help get the word out and educate the entire state about what ranked choice voting is and why it's good for Ohio. So we cannot do that without some funds in the bank. So we ask that you donate today if you can. Send your friends to donate. Come to the pub trivia. We always need donations. You can share that out on social media as well. They can donate through our page on social media. We have easy ways for you to do that straight there on your website. So we are trying to get as many people as we can to donate today and this week so that we can rack that up for the end of July, along with our numbers of people that are coming in this month. So we're just racking them up this month, and the more we can do that, the more we can prove that we are a viable organization, and people will then start to invest in us when we can get grants and we can get the larger numbers. So when we are ready and we have the numbers behind us, we can actually go to an enactment campaign and be able to get donors, large number donors, to come in and help us pay for that enactment campaign when we're ready. So we need the grassroots efforts now. Share the word, donate now, go to our website. You can do that at rankthevoteohio.org. We will take all donations, large and small. We even take monthly donations. If you just want to donate $5 a month, we will take your $5 a month. If you'd like to donate 25 or 50 a month, we'll take that too. We will take large single donations as well, as many times as you would like to give. So We thank all of our donors and everyone for chipping in and helping us raise funds. It's really important. Some other things that we are working on and ways that you can help us spread the word, but also fundraise at the same time. We are doing videos with a semi-professional film company. They do the back-end production. We provide the actors and we provide the script. So we do a lot of the front-end work. They do a lot of the back-end work. And that costs us on a monthly basis. We have to pay for that. And that's, I believe, $1,200 for a month for several videos. And we are getting ready to invest in our second round of videos. We have a film shoot tomorrow to do car karaoke. We're going to rank our choices of music on video and record that. Next month, we need somebody in Cincinnati to host a house party. This is a place where you come in and you're going to raise money. You bring your friends, you bring your family, you bring a whole bunch of people to your house. We come in, we tell them what ranked choice voting is, and you pass the hat and have some fun, bring some drinks, and we're going to rank some ice cream toppings at this one. We're going to have ice cream and rank the toppings. We want to put that on film for our video. So if you or somebody you know has a place that you'd like to donate to the video and have us come in, and bring your friends who don't want to mind being on a video for ranked choice voting. We would love to have them come in, do a house party. We fundraise at the same time that we take some video. It's a high energy, really fun event, and it'll be great for promoting ranked choice voting as well as getting some donations at the time. So let me know if you are interested in doing that. We're hoping to get a group of kids together. If you know some people, especially in the Cincinnati area, because they don't charge us to go out of the Cincinnati area. They do charge us to go out of, so we stay in the Cincinnati area as much as possible so we don't have to pay more. If you know somebody with kids that would like to get candy and want to learn how to rank their choices of candy, we're doing that in August. We need a group of kids to volunteer and be on camera. Again, in support of ranked choice voting. And the superheroes poll today is going to help us decide some of the superheroes that we want to have in our final video that we have planned for October, where we are going to have them having a discussion about running for office and what that looks like now and what it could look like with ranked choice voting. Superhero fun. So thanks for helping us get that one started. If you know anybody who loves to wear a superhero costume, we need some actors for that one in Cincinnati. So spread the word, share it out, bring it to me. I'm happy to hook you up with those videos if you want to get involved. We also pay for ads on social media every month. Some of you may have come here through those. We've had a video that's been going around on social media. These are all things that cost us money. So all donations are welcome at any time. And again, I encourage you, if you can, to donate today.
And so, as you can see, we've got a bunch of stuff going on, a bunch of things that we're doing. And so that's actually a little bit about one of the things that we want to hear from you. Like, what are some of the ideas that you guys have? What are some of the questions that you have of the things that are coming up, or just about who we are and what Rank the Vote Ohio is working on? Does anyone have any questions about that? And it might take me just a second because it's very hard for me to see who's raising their hand in this. So if anyone could let me know who's raising their hand right now.
Marius or Homer?
Marius.
Marius, yeah. Sorry, Marius, and then after Marius, we'll do Homer.
So I've done a little bit of research about ranked choice voting. I've known about it for a long time, same thing as STV voting, if no one knows about that, if anyone knows about that. But is there anywhere in Ohio currently that I would not be aware of that ranked choice voting is practiced in some form?
Not really, actually. There's no place that really does it on any meaningful scale anyway. That is not outside of any, maybe inside of a particular political party that they might use to figure out what drinks that they're doing, but no one that we know of really uses ranked choice voting.
Some universities use it in Ohio for their student offices. That's about it.
Yeah, the University of Miami uses it. I know Ohio Wesleyan has used it in the past. But Ohio does actually have a history with ranked choice voting where it was used. Ashtabula was the first city in the United States to use single transferable vote.
Single transferable voting.
Yeah, STV, as you said, and then other cities, even like Cincinnati and Cleveland, used it for a time as well during the progressive era, like in the early 1900s, and they saw an increase of people of color, women, and independent candidates getting elected at the city level. However, there was backlash from the party bosses who wanted to be able to control and limit the elections. And so it was repealed as a result of that. And so in many ways, we're trying to bring ranked choice voting back to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Homer.
And then Mike.
Good evening, and I may have more questions than 5 minutes permits, so you're welcome to contact me after. But to give you a quick background, I'm a 76-year-old attorney at law who's been admitted for 50 years and a political activist for over 60. And I was a member of the Libertarian Party of Ohio Executive Committee, which, by the way, uses ranked choice voting for its internal elections. And you stated that ranked choice voting is simple, and I would beg to disagree. And the one advantage of ranked choice voting is that it tends to be a majoritarian form of voting. However, it really doesn't operate well in a multi-seat election for that purpose. Well, I was about 3 years ago, while I was a member of the executive committee of the Libertarian Party of Ohio, I tried to work with the League of Women Voters, Common Cause, the Green Party of Ohio, and others to craft a form of voting reform which would include ranked choice voting that we could all agree on. And to be blunt, I was met with enormous amounts of silence, apathy, and we'll think about it in a couple of years. I had asked this group what specific proposal you had, because when I say it's not simple, there are many different ways of using ranked choice voting. Some are good, in my opinion, some are terrible. So do you have an actual proposal? Because I've asked for that in the past.
Yes, or more accurately, we have written up 2 different versions of the language that we would want to use. And yes, I would actually this would take a lot longer than just a couple of minutes permits with a couple other people, but I would actually love to talk to you more about this. We do actually have a proposal written for anyone who might be wondering. The general one that we are pushing for right now is instant runoff. And you are also correct, Homer, that it does, the way that we are particularly working, this does not work for multi-seat winners. So that is a thing that we are not going to be pushing in, I'm going to call it the first round, because I am ever the optimist and say we'll work on that on the second one. But ranked choice voting for us is what we're going to do for all single winner, and then figure out what we can do to help out and work for multi-winner seats.
You have my email. You're welcome to contact me outside of this, and I could share with you the constitutional amendment and petition that I drew. And I know a little bit about it. We just put an initiated ordinance on the ballot in the city of Vermillion, and you won't find many places to put an initiated ordinance on.
Yeah, and I also just put mine into the chat, and that's actually if anyone else has any other questions too. But if anyone has any other questions, Kristen's actually going to be in the main room when we do breakouts in actually just a couple more minutes, and she can answer a few more. But I think it was Mike who had one more question, and then we'll do the breakouts.
I do have one thing to reply to Homer. I just want to say, sir, I appreciate that you are familiar with single transferable voting. It is something that's not quite commonly talked about, so I appreciate that you say that. And I kind of want to answer your question or answer what you had talked about a little earlier, because as a young person like myself going to university, I'm going to be going to Kent State University, I'll just say that. And Kent is a city like very much populated, very much A large part of it is by the university students that live there and stuff like that. And I feel that to push ranked choice, to make it viable, it needs to start from like the ground level. So I'm just one person and I don't have too many resources, but I would like to see that there could be petitions made, possible referendums on like the county or like city or municipal level to, you know, at least have like city councils be conducted under ranked choice, and then work your way up from there. For example, in Utah, there are about over 24 cities now that have implemented ranked choice voting, and many other cities across the country have also started doing that. So it's a gradual process.
Yeah.
I think
If I can take back over. Mike, you did have a question too.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Mike.
Thought I unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Barely.
You're really quiet.
Really well. What have I done to my sound?
We can hear you though.
You had basically had answered my question already.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Cool. Then anyone else who has like other questions or things that you want to know a little bit more about, like what our plan is and how we're going to do it, that's actually going to be in that main room. But Kristen, do you want to talk a little bit more about each of the different teams?
Yeah, I think you've met most of our team leads already that are here today, but I did put into the chat, and I'm going to put it into again, the list of the teams that are going to break out. We're going to have discussions around what we're working on in each of our teams and setting goals for them. We'd love for you to jump in and join us and help out on any of the teams that are most interesting to you. And so if you decide which team you want to go in, I just posted the list. We want you to put the number to the left of your name. So if you go up to your name and click participants, or you can go to your little box there that has 3 little dots by your picture, either one, and click rename. And then rename yourself with the number of the room that you want to go to or the name. So put Maine to the left of your name or the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next to your name. Again, those are in the chat. You can choose which one you want to go to. That's how we get you into your breakout rooms for today. I do team leads. Let's just make it really quick today, since most of you have already spoken about what you do and where you're working on. Just a quick intro of which team you are. If you're going to stay with me, you have questions, I'm also going to show you some more information about what ranked choice voting is if you don't know, and I'll answer questions there in the main room. So put Maine next to your name on the left. And LM, quick intro. What are you working on? What's your topic for your team?
I lead the live outreach and fundraising team. So live outreach is, again, canvassing or events, talking with people about ranked choice voting. And then fundraising is talking with people specifically about money.
Great. And then I'm going to do it one more time there. Then volunteer onboarding, Jeff. Or Denise.
Yes, hello, Kristen. So again, my name is Jeff. I am the co-leader of the team with Denise. Our team, we reach out to anyone who's interested in volunteering for our organization. Anyone that fills out the form on our website saying they want to volunteer, or anyone that LM's team meets in live outreach that expresses an interest for volunteering, we reach out to them and figure out the best place for them within the organization. We don't cold call anyone, so we're only reaching out to people who would like to volunteer. It's a lot of fun, and sorry, Kristen, I have trouble being concise. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Tech and data, Joe.
Tech and data is pretty self-explanatory. We deal with all of the organization's tech and data, so we will research any new programs or technology that the organization might be able to use, and we deal with data input and manipulation also.
Great, awesome. And as we're still doing this, I want to remind everybody that if you were referred here by somebody, we do have a drawing that's happening today for any referrals that have been given. So if you put that person's name in there, they might win something today. So we would appreciate it if you do that.
Yeah.
All right, tech and data is number 3. Endorsements and speakers. Justin, number 4.
Hi. So the endorsements and speakers team, we're the ones who go out to the other groups. We're the ones who tell people what we are doing, what ranked choice voting is, and how they can help. So that one is just, I love talking, and you come on over to us. We'll help you do it. Or if you love messaging people and seeing how each other group can help us, that's the same as the endorsements team.
Great. And then policy and research, number 4.
Yes. So Doug was not able to make it today. A few troubles. So we're actually going to be doing the policy and research team.
That's why. Okay, see, I didn't have that communication. So
Yes.
endorsement, speakers, and policy and research are all number 4. That makes
Yes.
number 5 would be communications. Now I understand what you meant when you were texting me, Justin. I'm going to readjust the list here so you have it.
Okay. Well, while Kristen does that, anyone who is wondering about policy and research, they're the team who is actually helping to craft that legislation, as well as they're the ones who are doing a little bit of our archiving and finding out about mostly all of the weird, silly facts about Ohio history and how ranked choice voting has shaped it and how we lost it. So if you really love history or you really love law, head over to number 4, and that's the policy and research team.
All right. Meeting with endorsements and speakers, also number 4.
Yes.
And then number 5, communications, Kyle.
Hi again. So we do the written messaging and the art and design for graphics for our website, our weekly emails, and our social media. And so give us a like and a follow on all of our platforms, please. But if you love to write, if you love to design, if you are interested in helping us by being a social media ambassador or just, coming up with innovative ways to spread the word about ranked choice voting, we would love to have you. So put a 6 and also, put a 5.
5.
It's a 5 now.
It's a 5 now. Sorry, my bad. I messed
If you
that
put
one
a
up.
5 or a 6, we'll get you in the same place. So
We'll figure it out.
Also, while I have your attention, you may see some of us are wearing Rank the Vote Ohio attire. I saw Mike Maines had some as well. Yeah, nice shirt. And just for your awareness, it's a great conversation starter when you go out to, people ask about it and you can tell them all about ranked choice voting. There's also a 20% off sale on our online store. The link is in the chat. It ends at the end of July. And also proceeds are invested back into our nonprofit. Thanks.
Correct. Thank you. Again, I did not say that when I asked for donations. We are a nonprofit 501c3. Your donations are a write-off. All right. So hopefully you have the number next to your name. And Joe, our tech and data lead here, is going to throw you into a room. Again, if you don't get into the right room, click leave room, not leave meeting, leave room, and you'll come back to the main room and I'll throw you into the room that you actually wanted to go to. So apologize for the confusion.
Yeah. So Joe, you good?
Is that
Me, Marius.
Marius? And you want to be in 5?
Yes.
Okay, I will get
Thank you.
you moved to 5. Got it. And Joe, we're good.
Okay, cool,
Thank you.
cool. I thought I did it right.
I think you did it right.
If-
We're just
Now
gonna
if
stay
I
here.
could join my actual...
Yes, it should be in front of you. You should just be able to join. There you go. All right. And here we are in the main room. So welcome to the main room. First, I'd love to go around and just say hello and say where you are if you're willing to, and what brought you to this main room and what you'd like to get out of the next 15, 20 minutes that we have together. I'm Kristen Byrice. I'm in the Dayton, Ohio area.
I'm Guy Camilleri. I'm in Los Angeles, visiting you guys tonight. I've been with the Ohio group for a while, but I'm now spending a lot more time with Rank the Vote National, focusing on their major donor fundraising and their coalition building nationally.
Because other states are doing this too.
Lots of other states, yeah.
Yes.
I'm Homer Taft. You've heard a little of my thing, and it's always nice to see Mike Maines, a fellow libertarian. We're both actually going to be trying to be in municipal office this time around, I think. And I've been, as I mentioned, I've been an activist a long time. And a long, long time ago, I ran for United States Congress and state representative before my party left me, as I put it. I became a libertarian later in life. I've also run for state senate as a libertarian. I generally want voting reform in a number of ways. My concerns are what there are a lot of ways to approach it, and my concerns are that there needs to be a primary and a general of some kind, and how you handle the primary gets to be part of the sticky part, and as we've all agreed, how you handle multi-seat becomes a sticky part. So those are my principal concerns.
Get out of here.
Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Thank you. And did you say you are a lawyer or a law professor? What did you say about that?
I am an attorney at law.
Okay.
I practiced law actively. I had my own firm for 25 years. I then ran a manufacturing company for 18 years as CEO and president, and then we sold the company, so I retired from that, or actually I fired myself. And I principally do a little bit of law and a lot of real estate investment and property management now.
Got it.
And a lot of troublemaking on the side.
Good trouble, I hope. Good. All right. Mike, Grace?
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me okay now? Or
Are unmuted.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you now.
I wonder what was going on before. I live out here in Harrison, Ohio, which is 30 minutes from Cincinnati, 3 blocks from the Indiana state line, and I sit on Harrison City Council. I ran as a Republican 4 years ago this year. I am a libertarian being forced to run as an independent, so I have some passion around ballot access, and certainly ranked choice voting, I think, fits into that well, and it makes some sense to me, and you know, certainly it makes sense to me at the larger offices. You look at your congressman, your governor, your president of the United States, whatever. There's single seat, and that was my question: was how does it work for an election like mine, where we have 4, this cycle we have 6 candidates running for 4 seats. So how does ranked choice voting work in that? And from what I gather, it doesn't work very well. So I'm just curious how that works. And yeah. So and then I teach at the University of Cincinnati. I help students build a race car every year. That's a fun job, and as well as some other things as a professor at the university. So.
Kristen, if you would permit me to respond to Mike for just a minute.
Can we introduce Grace first and then
Oh, sure, sure.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Actually, I graduated from UC. So hey. But yeah, I am from Columbus, Ohio, and I work as an analytic scientist, and I actually have been volunteering for several times. I did the first canvassing at the North Market in Columbus. And yeah, sorry, my dogs are a little noisy. Actually, the main reason I'm in the main room was Craig mentioned, because I volunteer in the data and tech team, and once he mentioned we are considering to have a kind of statewide meeting in Columbus, and I kind of got in touch with the representative in my area, and I was waiting to hear back. I'm not sure if the leadership team talked about this because sounds like the room is quite popular. If we need to book it, we need to make the decision as soon as possible.
So we are planning on doing that, and I would suggest going ahead to book it if you can do that. And so, I don't know if you can do that or not, but the date we're looking at is September 25th.
September 25th. Okay. So do we have our time, like preference?
It'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock for how long?
2 hours.
2 hours.
We'd like to
Okay.
have it for 3 hours, 1:30 to 4:30 if we can.
Uh-huh. So
If we can only get it
is
2
that a
hours, that's fine.
Saturday or Sunday?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. So September 25th, Saturday afternoon to 4.
1:30 to 4 if we can get it that long.
Okay, 1:30 to 4. Yeah, because they said they will charge like if we need time to set up the takedown stuff. So they will arrange the table as how we indicated.
Okay.
But if we have extra stuff, like we need to have our like background and also poster. So if we have our individual stuff, then there's extra time.
If we can at least get it initially reserved for that time and then talk to Craig about getting that paid for and everything. He's been out this week and I think he's out for the rest of the week. So
Yeah,
next
exactly.
week we'll have to get him on that. So you can connect with him next week.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to go to the live outreach or the tech room?
Oh, I'll join the tech room. I can join my boyfriend. He's in another room. We are both in the tech room.
Which room is tech again? Let's see.
Joe's room. I'll just go to that room. He's on his computer.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably going to throw her in there anyway. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Great. Cool. So you get to hear a little bit about what we're planning for September. We are planning an in-person event on September 25th in Columbus. So everybody is invited to go to that. So Homer, you're welcome to answer the question that Mike asked. We are not at this point decided on exactly how everything's going to work. So there are ideas and there are philosophies and there are ways to go about doing multi-seat winners. We have drafts written up, but we do need them looked at. And we do need to look at them in a constitutional way to make sure that we are legit on the way that we want to do it. And we are not that far yet at this point with our language. So there are many different ways it can be done, and they are tricky. So Mike, if you want to give a very quick answer to that, go for it.
Sure. If you look at the quote-unquote official rules of how to score a multi-seat election, it guarantees, and we ran into this with the election of the executive committee for the Libertarian Party of Ohio, it guarantees that no person is elected by a majority. Any person, if say, for example, there's 4 seats, as I think Mike mentioned, then anybody who gets 4 plus 1 as the denominator and the numerator is 1. So in other words, anybody that gets 20% of the vote is elected, or at least the highest 4 people who get 20% of the vote. And anybody that gets over 20% of the vote, their votes are transferred until 4 people get over 20% of the vote, which means, and you only get 1 vote. You don't get 4 votes as you generally would. You only get 1 vote. And so once you've exhausted your 1 vote, you're done. And that's an extremely unfair, in my opinion, way to do things. And I have had many rank the choice activists pound the table and tell me there's no other way to do it. And in fact, the only way that there was to do it has been removed from all websites. I mean, there's some people that really have strong feelings that it should be minority, not majoritarian. And that's where the problem comes in with multi-seat elections. The other problem is if you have to settle the question of whether you're going to have a primary to bring it down to some agreed number, be that twice the number of the people elected or 4 times. You have 4 people running for a single seat. You have 16 people running for a 4-seat race. there's some real mechanical challenges to it. I'll just throw in one other thought for y'all too, which is that if you believe that most legislatures are going to pass this, you're dreaming.
Oh no, we are not. We're planning on doing
I heard of
ballot
drawing
initiative.
legislation, and quite frankly, you know, it's nice to have model legislation, but nobody's going to adopt it.
We're doing
They have
ballot
a vested
initiative.
interest. Yeah, it's going to have to be a constitutional amendment,
Yes,
or in the
that's what
case
we're
of
looking at.
cities, a charter amendment.
That's what we mean, but that's what Justin meant when
Yeah.
he said drawing legislation, is we're drawing up an enactment campaign for ballot initiative. Guy, what did you want to say?
Yeah, just some general stuff. After this call, I'm going to do a little research with the national team and try to find out some examples of RCV being used in other municipalities for multi-member elections and get that over to you guys. In general, from what I have heard, multi-member, where there's multi-member situations, RCV is still used, and the top 4 vote getters out of that pool would be the ones who get the seats. As far as limiting the number of actual candidates, generally that would be done up front by whatever the local ballot access laws are. So you'd still need to hit a certain thing to get in. So that being said, I don't have specific answers for you with respect to Ohio, but I might be able to get some stuff from other states that might be interesting to you as far as how some other folks solved it. And you're right, it has to do with how these things are worded. And ultimately for Ohio, I mean, this really is a multi-year process, and it's going to take not just the grassroots, growing the grassroots and the volunteers and the donors and endorsements, but also at some point bringing in campaign operatives, working with state legislators that already do support it, finding more that will, and so forth.
Yeah. And we expect to go ballot initiative because we know legislators are probably not going to do it. But if we can get some, we are drafting up. We do have a toolkit that we're working on to talk to legislators about it and educate them on what ranked choice voting is, so that if people want to talk to their legislators about it, they have language to go in with, talking points to go in with, and information.
And we're going to have to figure out how to get a good number of legislators on board, because if you look at the example in Maine, the people of Maine passed it, and then the legislature vetoed it. And Maine has a thing where the voters can actually veto the legislator's veto, which is what they did, which is why Maine has it statewide. But why go through that? It's going to be a multi-year process anyways. At some point, we start working on the legislators and build up that bench as well, so that when it does pass, you don't have a backlash in the state capitol.
That's why we have toolkits, so that there are talking points and information, so we can go talk to legislators individually. We also plan on doing letters to the editor and campaigns like that as well over the next few years. So this is like Guy said, this is a multi-year campaign. So until we have a certain amount, a threshold of people, money, and endorsements in place that make us a solid grassroots effort that can go to an enactment campaign, we're going to be working on building that grassroots effort and building that behind the scenes support and growth and strength, so that we're ready to flip over and it's an easy flip into enactment. You guys have other questions?
Well, a guy mentioned the veto right in Maine, and that is a major problem in Ohio if you do an initiated statute. An initiated statute is theoretically easier than an initiated constitutional amendment, but not really. Because if you get 3% and make the legislature consider it and they refuse to do it, you have to give a new and separate 3%, and there are such enormous problems in the validations of all that you're really better to go for the 10% with the constitutional amendment in the first place. And if you do the constitutional amendment, they have no veto power. They can't mess with you.
Right.
The only thing they could do would be put another ballot up for the people.
Which is why it's so important that what we're doing now is to build as many grassroots followers and volunteers as possible and compete. Because if you got several, if not tens, hundreds of folks in any general state legislator's district, calling them, talking to them about ranked choice voting, et cetera, they're going to realize this is all of a sudden on my constituents' minds. As far as the drafting, as you know, that's going to have to be done as we get closer. and so forth to address all those specific issues you just brought up.
And it has to go through committee first to be approved and all of that before we even can put it on a ballot. Before we can even start getting, you know, the mass amount of signatures, we still have to get it approved through committee at the state level. It has to be before we can do it. So I see some people coming back into the room. I know he just announced 4 minutes. Welcome back.
Hello. Yeah. We're from the Speakers, Endorsements and Policy and Research. Oh, and I did want to say, Homer, sorry if I made it seem a little flippant of like no one uses ranked choice voting. It was more of a it was the question of like, does anyone use it like on a city is what I kind of assumed that he meant. And yes, no. But I didn't want to make it seem as though like no one does, because the Green Party also uses ranked choice voting internally. And so does I think the DSA does as well. Some parts of the DSA, because the DSA does whatever they want.
Any other questions before the rest of the group starts coming back that we can answer for you? I usually would have shown videos and stuff, but you seem to understand what ranked choice voting is, so I didn't want to like go back to square one with you guys, so I didn't show you videos.
What, how's ranked choice voting going to work now with the ballot access in Ohio being so poor? I mean, you only have 2 parties. You know, there's the Democrats and Republicans are the only parties in the state that have ballot access.
To an extent. So, like, as far as ballot access generally goes, it's the hoops that you jump through. But one of the things that we actually put in, actually at the request of the Libertarian Party, and it's something that the Greens were very happy we were trying to put into it as well, is opposite of how Maine happens to do theirs, is the count for the first round counts as the percentage of whether or not you remain on the ballot. So I think as it currently stands, the exact number is 3% that you have to have gotten in the previous election, and then you stay on it for blah, 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 legal speak. Ours is whatever counts in that first round is who gets to stay on the ballot. So throwing out numbers, if both the Libertarian and the Green Party got, say, 5, they would then retain because they beat the threshold of 3. Because of other rules and how generally the legislature and that committee rips things apart, we have tried to write that as an addendum to, I think it's the Ohio Revised Code, saying, hey, because this is going to change, count it as the first, not as the end. That's how Massachusetts did it. And Massachusetts is a lot easier to stay on the ballot than it is in Ohio, because Ohio's built that way.
Well, I would have to think in the last presidential election, if we had had ranked choice voting, the Green and the Libertarian Party candidates would have gotten more votes. People wouldn't have been afraid about throwing their vote away, right?
Very true.
Almost certain. Oh, but I did see Homer raise his hand.
I just wanted to mention, to be clear though, the 3% under the current rules are only for the vote for president or for the vote for governor in those respective years, and not for any other position. We're experts at that, because one year we had a gubernatorial candidate very well qualified, and John Kasich, sometimes pronounced differently by Libertarians, spent over $600,000 to get him off the ballot by approximately 6 signatures. So, you know, and by the way, in that year, every other Libertarian at the statewide level got 5%. Every time that we get on, the majority party throws us off again, changes the rules, and throws us off. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of gamesmanship to this. So I would suggest that a way to do it is to do an open primary, but to consider possibly an approval voting system where in the primary you can vote for everybody you like, and the top 4 ranked of those go to a ranked choice voting general. That would be one way to do it. But
Yeah.
one way is let parties do their work privately and decide how they want to pick people they support or endorse or whatever. Let all candidates qualify for a general open primary, and then whittle it down to the top.
Yeah, there, like, you are right. There are a million different ways in which we could do this that are very, very easily put way better than what we've got. So like ours is like a very simple, like, hey, ranked choice voting and everyone, and like you're right, it is different per each particular office or elected seat. So like ours is, this is the easy way that'll let us slide very easily through the committee without them destroying the bill as much as they can, because they do that every time. And hopefully that will at least give us a lot of that edge and let us fix a lot of those problems with that first run and see what we can do on the next one. Because like I said, ever the optimist, we don't want to just say, we did it, we're done, we'll never do anything again. We want to keep making this better, because there's always something that you can do that will make everything better. Oh, but looks like everyone's back in.
Yeah, everybody's back. Thanks all for joining in, jumping in, going to a meeting. Would love to get a report back from all our teams and hear what is going on with you, what the goals have been set. And if you want to share out anything else that's exciting and fun, we will start off with live outreach and fundraising. LM.
Hello, yes. We kind of were doing a run through of the different types of live outreach opportunities. So what kinds of events are happening now in person. And our goal is to continue to get a sort of continuous flow of live outreach activities happening and on our calendar for different areas of the state, so that whenever even if it's just one person is planning to go to an event in Canvas, we want to let everyone else know, so that if we have someone else in that area who would like to come meet another volunteer, that they can meet up. Another good way to make that happen is we're going to start doing house parties as a live outreach and fundraising activity. So again, a lot of our own volunteers haven't actually met each other in person. So we're starting to lean into small, to in-person activities and like small gatherings at home to do live outreach and fundraising at the same time.
Great. And one of the things that I know is going to need to happen with communications team is that we have a bunch of templates for those house parties that need to be transferred over into Rank the Vote Ohio branding. So communications team, we have that will be a project for you. All right. So let's move on to our next team and hear from volunteer onboarding. Jeff, Denise, one of you.
Well, go ahead, Denise, if you'd like to talk. I would like to say one thing, though, just about what LM said about us, like me, a lot of our volunteers haven't met in person, which is like, it's strange to have a nonprofit, have an organization start during a global pandemic where it's been a challenge, organizing people digitally, trying to get people involved. We really appreciate everyone showing up month in, month out at our monthly meetings. I see Scott and Grace there. I met Scott and Grace. I went down to Columbus. Hi, Scott and Grace. And I also met Nick. Hi, Nick. And I've met those folks in person in Columbus. I will meet Joe in person for the first, well, no, we used to work together, so I've met him before, but I'll be going to Joe's campaign kickoff on Saturday. And I met Guy in LA a couple weeks ago. Hey, Guy. So it's really awesome to finally start meeting people in person again, and it's been a great way to being involved with this organization has been a great way to like make friends and get to know new people. It's been really fun. And yeah, during our breakout session, we had a new volunteer who was incidentally David Taylor, Denise's brother. So Denise roped her brother in to join our team. And he thinks he'll be able to help us next Tuesday with some live outreach canvassing for the special election.
I'll be there.
Which I'm stoked about. Thank you, David. very stoked about that. And then we spent the final part of the breakout session embarrassing Denise and talking about how great she is.
That's awesome.
Yep.
How much fun.
And Denise, what do you want to add?
I was going to talk about the goals the goals of the volunteer onboarding is to have 100% of our new volunteers called within 3 days, and then once we meet that goal, to have I lost it. Jeff, what was it? The next one.
It was, I don't have the, put me on the spot. Well, it's reaching out to 100%, and then within 72 hours as well. And
that's what it was, reaching out to 100%.
Reaching out to 100% of them and within 72 hours.
Mm-hmm. Those are our goals.
And just a reminder that volunteer orientation is Wednesday, and I have put in the meeting information, so if you want to copy and paste that into a calendar right now, you can go ahead and do that, and come on Wednesday at 7 p.m. is when volunteer orientation is. So we'd love for you to join us for that. Join them for that. I will not be there. The next group that we have to hear from is Tech and Data. Joe, what's happening there?
So for Tech and Data, Scott and Grace actually haven't been to a monthly meeting before, but they've been on the team for a couple months now. So I kind of give them the rundown on how the breakout rooms for Tech and Data normally go. And then we ended up finishing up talking about trying to get a quote from Tableau, but they are very demanding and very needy with the information that they want from organizations. So Scott's working on that, and I know Justin was helping out, and I said maybe Doug might be able to help too. I don't know if he could get any of the info for us also.
Great. Awesome. And endorsement, speakers, policy, and research.
Right. So what we're working on start off with the speakers endorsements. Our goal for the next month is 2 new endorsements. And that's full solid endorsements. Like, we're 100% behind you. That's what the endorsements team is working on. The speakers team is helping with. And for the policy and research, we actually just recently got a grant from Represent Us, and we are actually going to be using that to fund a poll in Ohio. So the policy and research team is actually going to be looking in this next month through a bunch of different polls on ranked choice voting from all across the country, and finding exactly the thing that everyone in Ohio wants, and what they think of ranked choice voting, especially probably on the first time hearing about it.
Cool. I'm so excited about those polls. Those are going to be amazing. That's going to be so helpful as we move forward too. All right. Communications, Kyle, wrap us up. Bring us home.
So our big pushes for communications are promoting the Trivia Night fundraiser. You've heard it before, but it's 7 p.m. on Thursday, August 5th. You can RSVP in the link and invite your friends via Facebook. And our next month's monthly meeting near the end of August will be our 1-year anniversary. We also want to give a shout out to Marius, our newest team member for communications.
Awesome.
He has some big ideas about how to reach out to more young people, and as we know, young people tend to be way more receptive to ranked choice voting, as we saw in Massachusetts and other places. And so he has some ideas may have some ideas for how we could do more like TikTok videos, for instance, on knowing like what is effective to reaching out to people. He's also interested in helping our Discord be more active, which I know Justin had set up a Discord for us, so we could talk about that. And he is also going to KSU, Kent State University, where he has a goal of helping the student government start using ranked choice voting, and then trying to build up awareness and support for ranked choice voting in Kent. So thank you, Marius.
Marius is going to start an RCV fan club at Kent, right?
You could call it that way. Yeah.
I mean, I will leave branding up to you, my friend.
Great.
Pardon? I'm sorry. Your phone. My phone just called.
I said I'll leave branding up to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome, Marius. Great to have you. Great to have all of our new people join us today. Thank you for being here and jumping into Teams, and appreciate the input that we've gotten tonight as well. So really appreciate all of that tonight. Great meeting. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that our next meeting will be August 23rd is what I have on my calendar.
Yes.
Yeah, Monday night at 7 p.m. the fourth Monday. And then I also want to plug the fact that in September we are getting together in person on the 25th, which is a Saturday, at 2 p.m. On the 25th of September. So get your calendars ready. Grace is going to try and hook us up with a place to go and work with Craig on getting that finalized for us over the next week. So it's going to be great to see everybody in person. We've been doing this for a year and most of us have not met in person. This will be fun. I'm excited to do that. And the other thing I want to mention is that if you are new to our organization and you have signed up that you want to volunteer with our group, you will be hearing from our volunteer team. Come to orientation if you can on Wednesday. That will be very helpful for getting your bearings and getting started. You'll be getting invitations to things like technology and Basecamp and Google Drives and all of that. Just heads up that that's coming so that you can get involved and jump in. And we look forward to seeing you there. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always email us. Justin, would you like to put that email in there again so that they can email you if they have anything coming up?
Yes.
And a reminder that donations are still open if you would like to drop a donation. We have $120 that's been donated tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate those donations coming in. We'll take any that you're willing to give beyond that tonight. And I'm throwing it back to Justin.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing it to, do we have anybody on the sheet? We don't have anybody on the sheet, Jeff.
Actually, we do have Jeff. I do think we actually have one winner.
So it's not on the sheet, but Denise brought her brother, and Denise has won a $25 gift card. Woo! So thank you, Denise, for bringing your brother. Thank you, David, for coming. And so Denise, you get a $25 gift card for Rank the Vote Ohio. You can get a shirt or a hoodie, or do they have aprons? I don't think they have aprons. There's
a really cool sweatshirt tote. There's like a tote bag.
Ooh.
50.
Sounds awesome. Congratulations, Denise. Thank you for bringing someone. We will have the same referral raffle next month. It'd be great if we had a weekly referral raffle, though.
I know, right?
We will have it next month, and you can also get an opportunity to win $25 in credit. So Thanks very much for coming, and invite more people next month so you can win.
Yeah, and so anyone who has any other questions or just wants to hang out for a second or two and just ask us some questions, talk to us a bit, stick around. But otherwise, everyone have a great day. Thank you for coming.
I saw your hand was up. Did you want to add anything?
Bye, Mike.
I was going to add something for Homer and Mike, but I think Homer jumped off. It was related to, I can just say it real quick. I just had spent the last 4 days in Rapid City for Freedom Fest, which is libertarian dominated, with the Libertarian National Party, and they're very aware of the open primaries, how we maybe should do that, and also ballot access issues. So I just wanted Mike and Homer to know that nationally we're encountering those questions and concerns a lot, and we're thinking about them and finding other folks that have dealt with those successfully. So
yeah,
just encouraging stuff for the near future.
And we're being advised by Rank the Vote National, and they're bringing all of that to us to help us create the best campaign for Ohio. So it's great to have some support in the background.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Sure.
I was wondering, I brought this up with the LM like a couple minutes ago. But I was wondering, have you guys ever thought about doing like a Ranked Choice Ohio app and have it like be able to be downloaded for like 99 cents or something like that? That maybe it'd be a revenue stream and an easier way for Ohioans to be able to be a part of the organization.
We haven't actually. That might actually be a good one. That is part of the reason why we created that Discord was we wanted people to hop in and start talking and be part of that conversation with everyone who's in there. And I kind of figured that would be a really great way to help everyone get to know each other. That's the way that we could all talk to each other. But if we had an app instead of like, hey, we're doing a Canvas event this Saturday at blankety blank, that actually might be another avenue to go down. So that is actually a good idea, and I think we can start talking about it. I don't know if we have any app developers who are part of our group. Joe.
I'm going to call it out. Joe put his hand up, sort of, reluctantly.
Who has a bunch of excess time on their hands to do it.
There's the key. Yeah, that's a no.
But I think that would actually be a really fun one.
That could be something we could get a grant
ways.
for to have developed for us if we had a nice little small grant that could pay for that, and we could pay somebody to do that.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that...
This is probably a dumb idea, but a gaming stream could actually be quite helpful if you're big enough, that is.
That one might be.
If I were like a big YouTuber and, you know, I could have directed, if I had a big presence on YouTube or whatever, I probably could try, but no.
Yeah, have you talked about getting on Twitch?
And I was about to say Twitch, yeah. I'm also on YouTube though, so there you go.
Grace was going to say something there. What were you saying, Grace?
Is it on mute?
No.
I can hear you.
It's the
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to say the Basecamp is pretty good. So whoever is asking for the app, you may just download the Basecamp. I think it's very easy to use, and it's a good platform to communicate and see what's going on with the effort. And I think the app, so I actually know a lot of people who do not like to download extra app. And also, I think that we'll have additional expense on our end as well. So I feel like the purpose is to make the communication flow, and if we already have ways to achieve that, maybe we can just spread the words about the Basecamp instead of build our own app. I know currently we're trying to migrate to another website, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, yeah, it's necessary to have a good website, but if developing a new app is going to cost more money, so I feel like use the Basecamp.
Right.
What about Linktree?
My 2 cents.
Sorry, what about, I didn't hear who had said that.
Oh, I said, what about Linktree? Same concept, I believe.
I'm actually not familiar with that.
I guess Linktree is a app-like thing, but it has pretty much all of your ways of communication on there, like in a row.
Oh, yes. That is actually something that a friend of mine whose name is TJ Magno, who is the head of the New York ranked choice voting initiative, has actually told me before. And that is actually something that we are working on. It's something that we want to have enough of a spread and enough of few different things that people can hop onto to really get the most out of our money if we use them.
But we need capacity to be able to run those things too and keep them moving and keep the conversation going too. So we have to consider that as well.
I
While those
noticed
require somebody to be on them to be talking to people as well. Benjamin Coop's coming in at the last minute here.
Hi, Kristen. I have one more question to confirm. Like you mentioned that the formal meeting starts at 2, but you want to book from 1:30. So how about at the end of the meeting? Do I need to book from 1:30 to 4:30?
No, the meeting should run 2 to 3:30, so that would give us that extra half an hour.
I see. Got it. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. She's going to go ahead and try and get us the room, and we'll deal with payment later.
Awesome.
Because
So
we need to
that's-
reserve it ASAP.
That's the meeting. That's talking about the meeting. More importantly, the party afterwards. Have we
Yes.
decided a venue for that? And
I
how
believe
many
there was
drinks,
a place across the street that would allow us to do that.
How many drinks? The second question is, how many drinks will Justin buy each of us?
All right, that was out loud.
I can see one for himself on that one.
Do we get to rank the preference of our drinks?
Ooh, nice.
Y'all have a good night. Thanks for allowing me to be here.
Thanks for
Have a
coming.
great night, everyone.
I'll be on next month.
Great. Cool.
I do notice that this is like an initial like grassroots, like at the start of everything type of movement. You know, it's just early on.
Yep.
So we have a long ways to go ahead of us, I suppose.
We do. We can grow fast if we can get people, the wheel of live outreach moving with fundraising. If we can get those two wheels moving, we can grow pretty quick. We just need we need people coming in, and we can do the live outreach wheel with volunteer organizing, and we could get a lot going fast.
I see. You mentioned like Massachusetts, the referendum that failed, but any news from Maine and Alaska that you've caught wind of?
We've had a lot of news from Maine and Alaska. I mean, everybody, from what I understand, it's going well in Maine. Alaska, they haven't had theirs. It just passed. So they haven't actually had elections there that are ranked choice voting. But Maine, it went pretty well last year in the fall.
Pretty good, pretty good.
So, and it goes well in a lot of cities across the country. There are some 30-some cities across the country that use ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
And it's,
Utah, I'm just wondering, is there anything that you know of about it possibly going statewide in Utah, or just remaining within like a bunch of cities?
go ahead, Guy. Plug
Sorry.
it. Put the link in, Guy. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I don't have the link yet, but for your first question, Marius, I'm sorry, Marius or Marius?
Marius.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. For your first question, I recommend, if you haven't done it already, go to Fair Vote National's website and then find all of their social media handles and like them, click them, follow them, and sign up, because they're always sending out new news blasts with respect to what's going on and what's current with RCV across the country and in various states and cities. With respect to Utah, it has passed statewide with respect to cities and counties being able to vote to use it for themselves. And as you probably read or heard, 23 cities, including Salt Lake City, as of last November, voted to use it. But to my knowledge, there haven't been any elections in those cities yet where we see the results. What's great about that, though, and great for all of us to continue to follow it, is that's an example where RCV is really adopted wholeheartedly by cities that are very Republican dominated and conservative. One of the pushbacks on RCV historically is that folks thought it was a liberal ploy, and this is a great example of how it works for no matter where people fall on the political spectrum. But there haven't been any elections yet, to my knowledge, in those 23 cities since they passed it.
Wait, who is denouncing it already? You said who denounced it as a liberal ploy?
No. Oh, nobody's denounced it as such, but traditionally, folks center-right believe that things like any electoral reform, which RCV just happens to be one of many, are a center-left thing, and it will hurt them, not benefit them. Of course, Utah is proving that wrong, and they're a great data point for us. Yeah.
I think RCV does a lot better for moderate folks, because with RCV, if you're more ideologically poised in one point or another, anybody can like rank you on a lower preference. So being a moderate,
It's very true.
Like
Yeah.
actually it has you to like get as much support from as many people as possible.
That's
absolutely true, which is why we love it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about it helping centrists is actually the criticism for Australia is that it is too moderating of an influence, which is a weird thing to hear when we live in America. A very weird thing indeed.
But it's exactly why we want it, right? Because then we get politicians on the right or the left who can actually compromise with each other because they're moderate and they don't have to worry about being primaried next election. So.
Does anyone else have any other questions or anything that they're asking? I know Benjamin Coop had a question of like, what cities use RCV? That's actually Fairvote is probably your best. Fairvote has one of the better just comprehensive lists. And the short answer is we didn't want to reinvent the wheel when someone else has already given us that information.
Yeah. Anyone familiar with Cambridge, Massachusetts council elections? They're like the last place in the country to use basically STV voting. So looking at that, it's kind of weird because like it used to have been so big and dominant. I'm kind of going off on a bit of a tangent, but now it's just that one city is like the last remaining place. And I'm just wondering if anybody's familiar with Cambridge.
Not actually. One of the things that I'm very much hoping is like single transferable vote, proportional representations are systems that, as a very reductive view of it, is ranked choice voting with a couple extra steps. And it's one of the things that I'm really hoping is when we try to open the floodgates of the first use of ranked choice voting, it then gets to be, hey, what do we want as the next step? What are the things that we can start doing? Like single transferable vote makes it possible that you have multi-winner seats. Same with proportional representation. And that's, I think, the next thing that we can start to push after that. Because our first idea that we want to do with the policy that we're advocating for right now is all single winner elections. Mostly because it has to be written separately. It has to be written differently if we try to tackle multi-winner. So having this as our first push of saying single winner, all of everything from city and all the way up to federal, do it all in one. Everything uses ranked choice voting, and then to say, hey guys, now that you all know what ranked choice voting is and how simple it is, do you want to take the next step and see where we would like to go after that? It's a little bit further down the line, but that is kind of a hope. And it's the thing that I'm kind of looking forward to.
And my last question before I pop out. So I do agree that ranked choice voting does work like wonders in like congressional or mayoral or city council or like those types of elections. But like elections involving like millions of people, like tens of millions, like presidential elections. Do you think that ranked choice voting is effective for presidential elections, like assuming that you have a popular vote system, or is like a top two system better, or a two-round system, sorry?
No, I would say that I think ranked choice is generally always the best. Like getting it to the, like any sort of top X still has, in a sense, the same problem that top two does, where it becomes, who are the ones that we really think will win? And it creates a bit of an issue of if there are top two, top three, top four, and any number of top X number, we do start to get a bit of a weird thing in which we have a bunch of people who will start to say, these are the ones that you should really care about, and let everyone else go to this wayside. And it's kind of what we're seeing with, I am down the street from them, it's Chantel Brown and Nina Turner are the top two candidates. when the other 11 are not being even discussed, even mentioned sometimes. But Guy?
Yeah, on the presidential level, it's actually much better. And if you're talking to somebody who is center-right, you can bring up the 1992 presidential election. If we had ranked choice voting, George H.W. would have won his second term. In 2000, if we had ranked choice voting, Al Gore would have beat George Jr. So you can use those two examples, and whether you like the results or not, the third candidate in Ralph Nader in the case of 2000, Ross Perot in the case of 1992 would have made a difference, because folks who really loved those two candidates could have still voted them first and then voted the Republican or Democrat second.
Hey, Marius, before you, sorry, I didn't mean to, great points, Guy, and I always like mentioning Ross Perot and Ralph Nader, because those are names that have stuck in, even if their policies and ideas didn't stick around, those are names that have stuck with people for the simple fact that they've been spoiler candidates, and with ranked choice voting, we don't have that problem. Marius, I was going to say, I have some volunteer magnets here, and you've just joined our organization as a volunteer, I know. So I'd love to send you a magnet. If you want to email me your address, I will, I just dropped it in the chat. Email me your address, and I'll get this off in the next couple days for you, okay?
Sure thing.
Thank you for volunteering. Happy to have you with us.
Let's close this out, because
yeah,
getting
it
late.
is getting a little late.
Well beyond our 8:30 time.
Okay. Have a great night, everyone.